The dust has yet to settle in the FBG Duck case, and the recent discovery of Lil Durk's involvement got a lot of folks shaking their heads. Durkio finally spoke up on who killed FBG Duck and why he was involved in the incident that took Duck's life. As y'all most likely know by now, FBG Duck was gunned down in broad daylight in downtown Chicago a few years back. They slapped a fat $100K price tag on Duck's head before he got gunned down outside that fancy Gold Coast store more than 2 years ago. Police records that were released some time ago spilled the beans on this. FBG Duck, real name Carlton Weekly, got hit with like 21 shots on August 4, 2020, right outside the Dolce & Gabbana joint on Oak Street. His girl and some other person standing in line with him caught bullets too. Fast forward 2 weeks, and a snitch locked up by Chicago cops starts saying it to detectives and FBI folks. They spilled that a Black Disciples gang member connected in some way first put up 50 grand for anyone who offed FBG Duck. Then the bounty got hiked up to 100K, as per those police notes. And there's more dirt too. Another tipster chimes in and says, "Yo, Duck was a marked man." That's all in records. They blacked out the name of the person who's supposedly behind the bounty, but the informant threw some hints into the mix. This mystery person had copped custom bling from the Black Disciples O-Block crew. It's funny that they mentioned King Von showing up in a YouTube vid right after Duck got smoked. Von's in there flashing some high-value O-Block jewelry for his crew. And just to throw it in, Von was the big shot when it comes to O-Block. You know, that set linked to the housing project near 64th Street and MLK Drive. After Von got taken out in Atlanta, the feds busted a huge racketeering and murder charge sheet in September of 2021. Initially, those cops were pointing fingers at 5 O-Block dudes, either part of the crew or just rolling with them for offing Duck. Then they got their 6th dude as well, but more on that later. Their names are Charles C. Murda Liggins, Kenneth Kenny or Kenny Mac Robertson, DeCarlos Los Offord, Christopher C. Thang Thomas, and Marcus Muop Smart. These cats are all in line for a trial. But hold on, a 6th guy offered himself just a bit before the trial, according to police records. Duck was tied up with the STL-EBT, the Tukaville crew of the Gangster Disciples. And word on the street is that they're in cahoots with the Jarl City faction of the same gang. These dudes had some ongoing beef with the O-Block crew. According to the cops' notes, a buddy of Duck's spilled that he was super careful about letting folks know where he's at, because he's had threats coming in hot from rival gang members in the drill rap scene. And let's dive into this wild surveillance action. Police checked out some footage from a different store in Oak Street and heard someone on the phone saying they saw Duck, that's FBG Duck, less than like half an hour before the shots went down. The person on the line rolls into the Montclair store saying someone with a gun was on their tail. Now, here's where it gets a little crazy detail. O-Block squad rolled out of their Parkway Gardens about 20 minutes before things went down. They hopped into a Ford Fusion and a Chrysler 300, ready for whatever. And you won't believe this, the investigators tracked down the whole path of these two cars using those fancy license plates cameras and other cams. At 4:26 in the post-meridian that day, the cars pulled up in front of Duck's Girls Ride on Oak Street. 2 dudes jumped out of the Ford, locked onto Duck, and 2 more from the Chrysler started firing at the rapper and his girl. Then bam, the shooters speed off in those rides. And guess what? Cars were registered to Los and Kenny Mac. Like, what are the odds, right? These police records also showed that the ballistic evidence they scooped up at the scene had them pretty darn sure it tied into 5 other shootings. Like there's been 1 death and 5 injured in those cases, and nobody's been nabbed for those yet, according to court papers. Kenny Mac got scooped up first with this whole Duck mess. They nabbed him back in February 2021, just weeks after slapping him with first-degree murder charges for some Dalton shooting, where a dude got killed and 2 women got hurt. Dude's in federal custody now. And guess what? He's facing a truckload of felony charges for that case too. A day after Duck got taken out, Vaughn made a track in which he yet again dissed Tukaville. He was taking aim at Tuka, who got shot down in 2011 at just 15 years old. And as you already know, that Tuka was Duck's tight buddy, and his set even took up the Tuka nameville in his honor. They've slapped charges on a 6th supposed player from the O-Block crew for taking down FBG Duck, that rapper from the scene. This dude, Ralph Turpin, he's 33, goes by Tall or Teasy, is now facing charges for doing a murder in connection with racketeering. Plus, they're throwing in a conspiracy to commit murder as part of racketeering. U.S. Attorney's Office dropped the news in a statement. So, just a few days ago, the FBI released a couple of documents that show even more details of exactly what happened in the Duck case and who was it that revealed his position to the ops. There's footage of THF Teasy posted up by the window. peeping something out. Now, here's the twist. This could be either after he bit the dust or maybe right before the whole thing went down. Messages also came out that they show a convo between TZ and Mac, who've already been mentioned because of his car that was used in the hit. The FBI's got their hands on everything, and there's even a screenshot from a text convo that's like a dead giveaway. Just look at this. It's right here in the message, man. And the rumors that TZ wanted to put the burner on Duck himself were all true after all. However, Mac and others had already ran up on Duck before he did, after he gave him the location. It's interesting to know that Durk's name also popped up in the indictment thanks to D-Thang. According to the indictment, TZ got on a call with someone and straight up asked, "Yo, what's D-Thang's digits?" And then he told the person on the line to make sure D-Thang hits him up. Now, there are gonna be a bunch of folks who will get on the stand and spill that D-Thang is actually Lil Durk's big bro. And not just that, these witnesses will also let loose that Durk is some high-up figure in the Black Disciples gang. And get this, at times, the stuff he did and does was and is tied to this bigger indictment. They're saying he's rolling with a Black Disciples faction that's tight with O-Block, but that's not the end of it. Not only was TZ spilling where Duck was hanging out, but he also moved closer to see if he was gone or not. He was across the street chatting away on a phone, just watching Duck for a good few minutes. Then, bam! At 4:26 p.m., Duck gets hit by bullets. You won't believe it, TZ strolls over to Duck after the shots to take a closer look, just to see if the deed was done. Now, one of the very last things that were shown in the indictment by the feds was that C-Murder was communicating with the rest of the gang that got locked up, and he was trying to cover this whole thing up. C-Murder's called up a certain person who was supposed to get the word to Duke, and Duke's got to let everyone know it's time to get new phones. At the time, C-Murder also thought they wouldn't have a hard time with this case, and he called it weak. He said that in the video that they showed him of the crime scene, they couldn't spot his face and his buddies' faces because they had masks on. And then he's spilling that the video that they got of him and his co-defenders just doing their thing, like going up and down the stairs in Parkway Gardens, doesn't even hold water. It's basically nothing. So get this, a day after Duck's gone, his girl gets a text from TZ. Guess what? It's just 3 laughing emojis. Like, can you even believe that? There's a witness who's gonna step up and say that Duck's girl wasn't all buddy-buddy with TZ because her kid had a phone to chat directly with him. And wait, there's more. Another witness, someone who's known TZ for ages, might just spill that TZ had some serious issues with Duck. Rumor has it that this whole thing could have been fueled by some jealousy vibes because of Duck's past thing with his ex. Now, Durk's names popping up in these documents wasn't really a huge deal. I mean, he is D-Thang's brother, so it was highly likely that his name would be dragged out throughout the case for some reason. But is this gonna bring down the earth on Durk, and are they gonna throw some dirt on his name too? You know, a lot of people think that it might actually just happen. Lately, Durkio's been going through a rough patch. He had some health stuff going on that landed him in the hospital, and then out of nowhere, they had to bail on a bunch of tour stops and even ditched showing up at the Rollin' Loud gig in Miami last month. The dude tried to lighten the mood though, dropped an update saying he's on the mend, playing off his album title with a witty "almost healed," but now this whole new can of worms could mess with Durkio's flow. Some people, Durk is gonna get cooked pretty bad by the popos. No people are right Durk is cooked. They are laying the groundwork to wrap Durk up in a completely separate case, mark my words. The FBI has a high conviction rate. They don't put out statements like that without a plan. And another one was right there too. Another comment wrote, "Doesn't a superseding indictment mean that more charges and possible more co-defendants are expected to be added to this case? If that's true, then it's pretty evident that they coming for more people, and with Durk being mentioned, it gives the likelihood of him being added very possible." What y'all think? Do you think this is bad news for Durkio too, or is he gonna just shrug this one off without a problem? Let us know what you think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting hip-hop news and updates to your feed. And as always, don't forget to keep it RIZZLE, RIZZLE.